I've played Herald of Purity in my melee build. Melee builds. Why do I see 2 doors for this zone? Should be only 1, I thought. The fuck? Oh, that's the okay. Chance. This is instant recovery. Stash. I thought can I buy some chromes? I only want turn precision back on. It's not on the staff. That's pretty good. Anyone want this? I need to restart Awakened POE. Yeah. The heralds. What? Oh, da 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 da. Yeah. Oh, oh hell yes. You can affinity scouting reports to your currency tab now. Yeah. In the campaign, I have it so that it defaults to just a tab, so I can like dump stuff in there for like things that I want to keep for potential like a backup for like if I get different colors on a different item that I need for another link set. You know, I have backups for like triple blue or blue, red, green. Can I open Awakened POE again yet? No? What the fuck?
Exile has tested you, my brother. Now let's see what God has to say.
Whatever.
Have you ever seen the true face of God, Exile? Die. The light of divinity. Drink not from God, the light of divinity. This world is an illusion, Exile.
The fuck?
By exiling me, you were my genesis. May these waters wash away my sins and baptize. Talam.
Let's speak again soon. Talamon.
And that's what I used to level up till I got to Act 3. Yep. I'm still using it for the Culling Strike. I have it on a Ballista totem. I think this is the last ascendancy for getting my second ascendancy, which is gonna be fucking huge. My attack speed is gonna go fucking insane. I don't know about you, but Spellsinger seems to cast every single, like, gets used every single time I cast something. Doesn't seem like there's much of a cooldown.
I must have time to gather.
Yeah, gambling is super nice. Just not with wands, honestly. Gambling with wands suck. Oh, I almost closed that breach. Sure can. Yeah, this way. Follow the road, I think. Oh shit, that rare hurts. an Orbot? Never. Intelligent. Okay, no life. I can take this one. Right, yeah.
I'm sorry, Thor. We must not not to abuse your creations.
It's Act, pretty sure it's towards the end of Act 2, no? Maybe it is Act 1, though. Damn it. Ran out of flasks. Yep. It's a lot of corrupted blood on me. Go away, corrupted blood. I'm pretty sure they increase the distance you can see things in like the Fog of War type thing. Like for doors and quest items and stuff like that. It feels that way anyways.
You are free now, Thor. Go with God.
Whatever. I plan on being on pretty much all day. Kate says she's not feeling well, and I already told her that she didn't want to let me play last night. So I was like, okay, then I will play all day tomorrow, and you can't stop me.
Hello. While we
It's not an Act 1, then it has to be an Act 2.
Yes? Be well.
You want me to just buy it for you?
Be careful.
That was the last one to check.
Where the reggae? Yep, it's super nice. Our hopes are with you. Earth here trembles with the fear of defeat.
I mean, they didn't really nerf it, and it's the best defense archetype there is for the past like 3 leagues. Top 100? Oh, it's top front page, holy.
I must have time.
That's crazy.
I will.
Wish I was that good. X. It's, kinetic stuff. I think there was like 1 or 2 spells that weren't physical. I say physical, like it. Like I'm using kinetic blast right now. I'm gonna play around with kinetic rain.
Corruption eats away at the roots of this mountain.
I just want to know if activating these things does anything in the new breach mechanic. The like little purple dots on the map.
No soul should suffer as you have, Deshret.
Holy. Hold on. There was. I have to go back. Because I definitely picked up a 6-socket body armor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I am your home life. Of course.
Okay.
Talamon.
What do you mean? What the hell? How's my computer even running with 0 bytes free on my C drive? Oh, did you get the new pet? You didn't watch. It's a spider. Okay. Legion. I don't have Revo uninstall or install. Ugh. Uh, Combat and stuff like that. It is. It's super nice. Now I have 30 gigs free. Will it let me install Awakened POE trade again? Lucky. I didn't get mine until way later. Why is Awaken POE trade not installing? This is really frustrating.
Say something again?
Said this is really frustrating.
Mm. Just messing with some Discord settings. I didn't realize that I could change the overall theme to be like black instead of just gray. Guardian Blessing. A blessing skill.
So I need to delete app data.
So this Guardian's Blessing support must support both a skill that creates minions which can be damaged and an aura skill that creates permanent auras around you. Minions from supported skills take damage as physical per second while you have an aura on you. So this is literally just saying like, hey, if you have a damageable minion, you get 1 free aura.
I guess.
Interesting. But that would mean that I'd have to have a good amount of points in minion regeneration to make it worth it. Since they take a % of their life. Or a whole bunch of physical damage reduction. Is it physical damage over time or physical damage per second? So armor won't affect it. That sucks. So 8% plus 15% is how much? 23? 23% reduction on 8.3. 8.3 times 0.77? Yeah. So they'll take 6.3% of their HP per second. Well, I guess they wouldn't have to be alive permanently. You would just need to make sure that it make sure that you have a way of resummoning them so that your aura stays up. But if you have to keep resummoning them, then that means that you're going to keep dropping the aura, which is annoying. That kind of makes me think that it has to be a animate guardian link to it, which I wouldn't hate, especially since they made it so that you don't lose the stuff anymore. All that just to squeeze out one more aura, though. I don't know if that's gonna be worth it. We'll see later. Oh, wait a second. That was my... I'm so stupid. That's my chance to get a real support gem in there. Like minion damage. Do I have any gems? No, I don't even have freaking currency to do that, so screw it. What's this monastery? Can I get some currency out of this? So how do you get graft blood?
How do you what?
How do you get graft blood?
You go to the area. You want to stream your thing? So you go to a waypoint. Oh, you're already there. So you have craft blood. So like if you select the little empty thing,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have anything that you can put there. None of those incubator type things will go in that area. You'll see if you hover over on it, it can grow whatever, you know. So that one's currency. So if you go up and over to the left a little bit, or to the right on the tree, like zoom out on the tree, see the whole tree. So like you have 2 points left up there, right? So you can go ahead and put 2 points in there.
I see.
Each little section has, and then for me, what I did to get body armor links super quickly, I went up. So go to the big cluster of nodes, yeah. So there's that, but you can select, like, if it's going to be a shield or body armor, right? So I chose body armor. And then the node so go back to the starting point. No, of the tree cluster that we're at. And then up 1, left 2, and then the big node up. So that allows you to get links super nice. That paired with the body armor, and then there's like if you want int specific gear or whatever, there's a node for that towards the south, and whatnot.
I would want the currency, so how do I unlock this?
You gotta do the link mechanic. You gotta the little like where you're clearing out the like breach area. I would go ahead and apply because those points are only specific to that area. So I would just go ahead and start filling it out.
Okay, so you get the points from doing that. Okay.
Correct. And so you have a bunch of crafts there, or boom gifts, right? I would spend your second point before doing one. Or if you want to play around, you could just do a low level one that you're probably not going to use anyways.
So we have jewelry. What the heck? Oh, this picks one. Okay. So how about this is sockets and links. This is additional equipment. So I guess if I were to choose one, I would want sockets. Okay. Okay, so I have to just keep on doing the mechanic.
So that if you go to the left of that starting point, that first like circle, so there's that, and then if you go, you can just select what attribute type of you want, you know.
Okay. Cool.
So that paired with that body armor paired with the links reroll for maximum sockets and links can very easily get you the maximum item level. I have that one. I haven't used that one yet. I've been using the tornado one, which is super nice. But I'm going a different build than you, so you choose which one you find more useful.
These are called graphs. These themselves are the graphs?
So I think I different types of grafts now in POE. So there's the grafts that you can add to your passive skill tree, right? And then there's the arm graft, the hand that gets attached to your back, and that's also called a graft. So just be aware, it can get confusing.
When you consume graft blood, you're consuming the graft blood of this thing that you have equipped.
So that is just collecting the craft blood. It doesn't actually.
Gotcha.
Like,
So you're not gonna
having
expend
craft
it.
blood. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I just want Awakened POE to work again.
Well, there's my second 4 link. It's all red though. Meh.
And it's on an armor base type.
Yeah. Cold spells. Yeah, but these are low level.
Yep.
That's fine. Good to know. Good to know. And then I got rid of this one. No, I want to have that one because this life recovery rate. I have enough life. I have enough defense. Let's get some offense. But I'll probably hold on to these. I'm sure we'll get much better ones, but for now. Wait, where'd it go? What?
You might have an affinity turned on.
Oh, yeah, I do. For the graft locker. Ah, okay. Cool. Even better. Alright, no more skipping the league mechanic then.
It doesn't seem very rippy. Like I think I've died maybe once or twice due to the Awakened POE trade 3.27 not working.
Where's this flinging ice thing? The graphs, like, offensive stuff works constantly, right? You don't have to be in a breach for it to work?
Correct, yeah. The graft ability works wherever. And there's no way for us to scale it, from my understanding. Like, it's its own, like, any modifiers to the character, the player, will not be included in the modifiers to the, which is why it's so strong early game, right? So there's no way to scale the graft, it seems. There's so if the graft that you're using applies a buff to you, you can do things that like increase duration of buffs on you on your like passive skill tree or whatever.
Globally.
Those will influence the buff.
Yeah.
Since it's being applied to the character, but there's no way to like reduce the cooldown of the buff being activated. You know, like you can't, any CDR that you get will not apply to the graft.
Which should not be a problem. And I still didn't put a support gem on this. Holy cow. Oh, because I don't have... I keep going in circles with this. I don't have currency. Need currency.
So we got app data. It is not making an awakened POE trait folder even. Run as administrator. Yes. Why? I don't understand. 22 hours ago.
That was easy. Alright, let's grab some food.
I'm gonna restart my computer.
Ah, chicken. The chicken of the sea.
And we've got a clear legal mandate to keep some aside in case there's a national emergency. The idea that they're going to take our rainy day fund and spend it, like what happens in 3 weeks from now when all the money's gone and they still haven't appropriated anything? What happens then? The Democrats need to think ahead. They need to get the government open. The president said he's happy to talk to them once we get the government open.
Yeah, before I let you go, Kevin, I want to ask you about a different topic, and it's something that we've talked about in terms of the layoffs that we're seeing, AI related in many ways. We've seen UPS, we've seen Amazon, and word is that there are other big layoffs that are coming. How concerned are you, as the president's national economic advisor, about what is coming down the pipeline for white-collar management jobs in America?
Right. Well, right now we're seeing high income growth, high median wage growth. The economy's growing almost at 4%, and the labor market data was a little bit weaker than expected. But right now we don't even have labor market data. In fact, we'll never know the unemployment rate for October because the Democrats have shut down the government and they're not doing the survey. The fact is that people are changing professions, but job creation is still positive, and income growth is really positive, and so is GDP growth. We're very bullish on the economy right now.
But when you look out, you're talking about the conditions that exist now and the numbers that you rightfully say we don't have because the government is shut down, and we know you want it to be reopened as soon as possible. But looking, economists always have to look into the future, and I'm wondering what you think the impact on the U.S. economy is if we continue to see these kinds of layoffs in people who've been, went to college, they're in a white-collar job, they've been there for 3 to 5 years, and they're about to get pink slips.
Well, obviously, our heart goes out to anyone who loses a job, but right now job creation is positive, and when people are using AI at work, they're becoming more productive and seeing high.
You see these layoffs that are happening at UPS, at Amazon. We understand there's financial services groups that are also about to announce things along these lines as well. Are you hearing that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I read the news stories as well as you are. But what I'm saying is that people who get AI at work, there's a huge academic literature that's showing that it's making them more productive and making their wages go up. And so if you're unfortunate enough to have your firm say, okay, I'm going to replace you with whatever, AI or someone else, then if you move to a new profession, AI is going to help you train faster, help your wage go up more. And so labor market is positive. The GDP growth and income numbers are all real positive. And so we see the headlines, but those are headlines that you see every year that this or that company is readjusting its labor force. But in the aggregate, the numbers are positive.
All right, so you're saying that you don't think that there's any AI sort of reorganization of job structure coming in the United States of America?
AI is making people more productive, and so that's making it so that some firms can make the same amount of stuff with fewer workers, but then those workers go get another job, and that's why labor markets are working so solid.
Well, let's talk about. I hope that is accurate. Last question before I let you go. With regard to the enrollment opening, and you've got an average of some of these premiums on healthcare, on the extended healthcare benefits that happened during COVID, they're about to expire, about to go off. If somebody logs on November 1st tomorrow and they look at their premium and it shot up in a place like New Jersey, for example, 175% the day before, 2 days before the election, what do you think is the impact of that?
Well, I think that the Democrats think that they can shut the government down and not have a negotiation over these things, which are, by the way, premium increases that they voted for, and then blame Republicans. But the American people aren't that stupid. They understand that Democrats have shut down the government, and any disruption to anything that's going on right now in government is their fault because they won't open it.
All right, we'll see. Day 31, Kevin Hassett, always good to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining me, National Economic Advisor to the President. Thanks so much, Kevin.
Thank you.
Fox News alert: tensions, anger, and fear from millions of Americans caught up in the federal government shutdown, now in day 31. U.S. Senate Democrats are under extreme pressure after spending yet another full week blocking Republicans' efforts to pass a clean funding bill and reopen the government, pay people, and put cash back in critical programs. Democrats are getting addicted, it would seem, to a drug of emotional violence, toying with people's suffering. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. The pain of the shutdown is being felt. It's about to get infinitely worse. Federal food assistance to more than 42 million Americans expires tomorrow. Also at risk, the Head Start preschool program for little ones across the country. And open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act. That's right. Democrats have said on the Hill they are holding out in the Senate for some deal to lower the cost of Obamacare. Well, it's a mystery, because right now they expect people to pay for that enrollment during a shutdown when millions of them are not getting paychecks. Republicans are not the only ones asking Dems to end this all. So far, 5 unions and 4 of the largest airlines have called on lawmakers on the left to pass Republicans' clean bill to fund the government. Watch this.
The biggest way to ensure the safety, security, and reliability of our national air traffic control system is to pass a clean, continuing resolution.
Everyone knows the Vice President, Congress, says that this shutdown needs to end now. It has to happen now. These guys need to convene, say yes to that clean CR, get this thing back on track, and again, restore that confidence in the American public.
But let's get a clean CR and get that negotiation done behind closed doors, without the pressure, without putting the American workers and the American economy at risk.
Dems are adrift with no common sense. I mean, obviously. These people know what they're talking about. They're leading people. They need this to stop now. And the pressure on Dems, struggling to pinpoint exactly what is in the Republican bill that warrants a shutdown, is mind-boggling. But it's true. It's a fact. Why can't they say what's in it? Watch this.
Should Democrats pass a standalone bill to fund SNAP benefits?
Good morning. Well, let's be clear. Republicans run the House. They run the Senate.
Is that a yes, then, that there should be a vote on the standalone legislation?
I'm here. My Republican colleagues are on vacation. I don't play politics. I want a clean bill that focuses on the American people.
They did have a clean CR vote on September 19th in the House. Did you vote for it?
I disagree with your characterization and want to make sure that we're very clear about what Republicans have been doing. Any bill that they've put forth, they've always had some extra stuff to it. There's always been a poison pill to it.
What were the poison pills of the clean CR, or the continuing resolution, you say it's not clean, that was voted on in the House in mid-September?
Here's what's important. I think what you're trying to do is shift the responsibility to Democrats.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know what the poison pills were in that clean CR. There aren't any, and she can't make an interesting or correct argument because she doesn't know what's in it, or because there aren't any, or both. It's beyond sad. It's disgusting. Republican Senator Ashley Moody in Focus coming up. First, let's begin with senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Chad.
Harris, good morning. We're slamming into the first major inflection point of the shutdown. Travel delays coupled with the lack of SNAP benefits is a volatile political mixture. There's worry about holiday travel. The administration is blaming Democrats for the shutdown.
I know the day after Thanksgiving is the busiest travel day in America, and if our airports are shut down, it'll mean that highways are more congested, and they'll be the Grinches who stole Thanksgiving.
Democrats are raging that the Trump administration is not doling out SNAP benefits during the shutdown. That's always happened during previous shutdowns. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries tore into the GOP for saying it could not provide SNAP benefits.
Republicans hold press conferences every day, and you know what they do? They lie to the American people, and they haven't spoken a word of truth to the American people other than what Mike Johnson admitted today, which is that they want to rip away SNAP benefits from 42 million Americans.
Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins appeared with House Speaker Mike Johnson at the Capitol today. Rollins said she is barred from tapping an emergency fund for SNAP.
That's the contingency fund that we would use to send more money into the vulnerable communities that are harmed by a specific event like a hurricane. Even if it could flow, it doesn't even cover half of the month of November. So here we are again in 2 weeks having the exact same conversation.
Delta Airlines and United want the shutdown to end. Airline delays are increasing. Now this morning there are 50-minute delays related to staffing in Austin and 67 minutes in Nashville. Harris?
Chad, thank you. Even the left-leaning Washington Post is heading up from Democrats. The editorial board argues, quote, the right answer is to reopen the government with a clean funding bill, ideally for a full year, to get food stamps flowing and federal workers back in office, and then have a debate about ACA, that is Obamacare subsidies. Democrats openly acknowledge that they refuse to do this because it would mean giving up their leverage. If they persist, it could mean families start to go hungry. Senator Ashley Moody, Republican of Florida, member of Joint Economic, Judiciary, and Homeland Security Committees. Great to have you today. Break this down for me and tell me, are there any signs of something happening before the expiration of SNAP?
Well, I'm so glad that you showed some of those clips and the responses of the Democrats. What's becoming abundantly clear is they cannot explain, even when being pleaded to by liberal-leaning organizations, unions, liberal media outlets, on and on and on. Please pass a clean funding bill. This is a bipartisan bill to open back up the government. They have nothing to say. It's because they have blindly followed Chuck Schumer in his quest to appease a radical base and save his hide. And they don't know why they're doing it. They're just blindly following him and neglecting to pay attention not only to the voters that put them there, but to their responsibilities to serve in a good faith way as a senator and operate the government. And the real challenge is, I believe, their entire point of this thing was to shut down the government.
Yeah.
Because you now have people that have been elected into office who don't like America, that want it to look like an entirely different country than it was set up to be. They want government to tell you how to live your life. They want you to tell you how to run your markets. I mean, it's a really scary time when you have people elected to office and their goal is to shut down the United States of America. And that's where we are right now.
You know, it's so interesting, too, what you're saying about Representative Janelle Bynum in the House. She had already decided she was against this thing and clearly didn't even know what was in the clean CR or if there were any poison pills in it that she should vote against. But she made that decision, and the power doesn't even really rest there now. It's in the Senate. And if the Senate does the right thing and reopens the government, that doesn't have anything to do with irrelevant Bynum at this point because it passed the House. Like, I don't think she understands how this works.
No, and the challenge here is that you have senators that aren't stepping back and listening to the people that elected them to open this government back up, and that is a scary time. I mean, Congress is the American people. We are the place where the American people have their voices heard, and it appears we have senators right now that are ignoring the people that put them in office to represent them. I mean, there is a majority call to open back up this government, and it is a scary very thing. And I think that's why you're hearing frustration from President Trump and so many other people who are like,
Unions,
this is something we haven't
airline
had to deal with
CEOs.
in the past.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this. We have been talking about the real pain American families are facing as Democrats refuse to reopen the government, admittedly for political leverage. We know that from Catherine Clark, right? She spoke on behalf, I guess, of all Democrats when she spoke as a lawmaker last week. The images are stark and very sad. People are already lining up for food assistance at pantries across America, and many of those facilities cannot keep up with the now empty shelves. I mean, just in days. And the people who defend our nation are hit hard too. Many military families live paycheck to paycheck, especially those who just entered, those younger fighters that we have. And so their early salaries matter, and they qualify for them to make federal food assistance. So they're banking on this not expiring this weekend. This video from a YMCA in Killeen, Texas, operates a food bank for service members. It has been overwhelmed with service members bracing for missed paychecks soon if the government stays closed. Watch this.
Many folks are deployed right now overseas from Fort Hood and from other locations. And the last thing you want to have when you're deployed overseas is be worrying about the next paycheck and how you take care of your family who are back wherever they live in the U.S.
Senator Moody, we are blessed to have those men and women in concert around the world for us in our military. They will stay on their jobs and hold our
Alrighty.
They are paid to do it. All of these people. And by the way, this is the percentage of the population using SNAP right now. While you give us your reaction.
We want them to be thinking about right now, this time in our world. I am from a military family. It is heartbreaking. Our boy in our family is right now in active duty. I have over 100 people that are
POB. Had to restart my computer.
Yeah.
This is the longest shutdown in American history. The longest full shutdown in American history. It tells you something about the people that have been elected to the Senate that aren't paying attention to their role, their good faith role as a senator to push this government and open it back up for the people. And they can do that. We already have Democrats voting with us. We just need a few more to stand up, grow a backbone, and vote to serve their country. It is incredibly important right now. The newest senator, this place is broken. We need to fix it. And I'm pleading with my colleagues. Let's open back up the government so we can serve the people.
So I tell you what, you're educating us because you're right. On Monday, we will tie the longest ever. And that's because everybody's already leaving Washington. They started leaving yesterday. So it's almost like a weekend doesn't even count. But it counts for those families. It counts. I'm so glad you're in focus today. Thank you.
As Democrats move further and further to the left, squad member Jasmine Crockett is sensing opportunity. Firebrand Texas Congresswoman says she is thinking about running for the Senate.
I've heard you talk about the potential of the Senate run. How seriously are you weighing that? I am seriously weighing it to the extent that I'm about to spend a lot of money to get data. I'm curious what you think the Democratic Party's brand is right now, how voters see it, and what you say to people who think that the Dems, maybe on the shutdown they're fighting, but overall they're not fighting. We are not perceived as fighters, and we are perceived as people.
All right, so let's bring in Carl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff, President George W. Bush, and a Fox News contributor. So there you have another Democratic firebrand sucking all the oxygen out of the old guard.
How am I affected by corrupted blood? Nothing's literally hit me at all. Where is my cursor? What the fuck?
From the bottom up, from grassroots Americans and people concerned about deficits, debt, and inside government special deals like Solyndra. This thing is from the top down. These are from people who think they know better than the rest of America. Behind me is the capital of the state of Texas. Jasmine Crockett was in that capital as a state legislature. She was a complete non-entity with a big mouth. She carried that to Washington. She may think that she can run for the U.S. Senate. I hope she does run for the U.S. Senate because it will continue the Democratic tradition of since 1994 of failing to win a single statewide election. If she thinks AOC policy and Bernie Sanders policy are going to win the hearts and minds of Texans, she's kidding herself.
All right, so let's go to Kamala Harris because she, like Karine Jean-Pierre,
Oh.
appears to be in some way.
Well, had my first breach death. What the heck?
Do you really? Yeah, I do.
That surprises me, actually.
No, I do. But there's a distinction to be made between running for president and being president.
So she's suggesting that he was competent to be president, but not competent to run for president. And I'm kind of wondering who's she trying to kid?
Yeah, exactly. If you're a liberal or a progressive and you've lost John Stewart, you've really been on the bad side of this thing. I mean, the tone of incredulity in his voice was apparent. Look, he was not up for the job. We knew he was not up for the job. It was clearly defined after he had that terrible debate performance. She benefited from it. But why continue to tell us something that we know is simply not true? He was not up for the job.
Right. So James Carville weighed in on all this and thinks that it's time for Kamala Harris to get off the stage. Listen to what he says.
Look at no one that had anything to do with 2024. No Democrat wants to hear from you. Not Hunter Biden, not Harris, not Tim Walz, not the consultants, not any. The 2024 has left such a lingering bad taste in Democrats. We just don't, just get out of the way.
Yeah, Kamala Harris insisted the other day that she's not done, but I'm thinking she might be cooked. What do you think?
Well, I happened to be with James Carville yesterday at a financial services conference, and if you think he was pointed on that clip that you showed, you should have heard him in person. Absolutely. Democrats are not going to want to hear from her again. She spent $1.7 billion. That's about 35% more than any other Democrat has ever spent over a 2-year campaign. She spent in 107 days, and they don't want to hear from her again. She has kidding herself if she thinks that she can run for president again and be a serious contender. She has been able to earn her way back into elected office, and that meant running for the governor of California. She's ruled that out. I think she is back. There's no way Democrats are going to come to her.
All right, well, we'll see if somebody's got to work somewhere. Carl,
Yeah.
good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Rob.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
levels over fucking zone. I will say the breach is good XP.
I'm just kind of scared that I'm not gonna like any playstyle other than the freaking spiders, because they just do so much. I did really like the frick, what was I doing? The cast on, or was it Spellslinger? I think it was Spellslinger Power Siphon with the Saboteur. That one was fun. It just was not tanky enough. I probably just needed to put more time into it. Because, I mean, having poison healing you, self-poisoning and then having that heal you was pretty cool.
I forgot to craft my new wand.
Alright, how does this work? 40% of damage taken from mana before life. I've got... Oh, but if I'm reserving mana, then I do have to stretch over to Eldritch Battery. Well, I can do a bunch of stretching going up there. I think I'm gonna have to. Because I kind of want this recoup mechanic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Dagnabbit. So much traveling. Every build.
Oh, hell yeah. Affected by a fucking diamond dark shrine. Unlimited power.
You're looking live at Gary, Indiana, about 30 miles south of Chicago, where at any moment DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, alongside other immigration officials, will give an update on ISIS Operation Midway Split. Border Patrol Commander Greg Covino has been wildly successful despite democratic opposition. Hello everyone,
Use of divine fonts again.
Also joining us, Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Lana Martuno, Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney, and Paul Morrow, you know him, Fox News contributor, attorney, and retired NYPD inspector. All this comes as DHS is warning of unprecedented violence.
When I get KBOC, it's gonna be
skyrocketed to over 8,000% compared to last year. Just look here at this video on your screen. Officers are being assaulted by people throwing rocks at their heads and blocking police vehicles with their bodies and bicycles. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Meet Eduardo Aguilar, a Mexican national living in Dallas, Texas illegally. DHS says he put a $10,000 hit out for the murder of ICE agents in a TikTok post. Some of these bounties have reached up to $50,000 for the killing or kidnapping of high-ranking officials. Here's another example. An anti-ICE caller who wishes for law enforcement agents to get jobs.
You know, it's always the bad guys who need not the good ones. I hope every one of those lawless call ICE officers gets dropped one by one, and they get the public shaming they deserve.
Man, well, the DHS recently put out a statement defending the ICE agents, stating, quote, from bounties placed on their heads for their murders, threats to their families, stalking and doxing online, our officers are experiencing an unprecedented level of violence and threats against them and their families. This violence against law enforcement must end. And meet Pat Abugazala, a 26-year-old self-branded influencer running for Congress as a Democrat in Illinois. You can see her right there in details at an anti-ICE protest last month at Illinois' Broadview facility, blocking a police cruiser from lawfully doing their job. She's now been charged for, quote, assaulting, resisting, and impeding a federal law enforcement officer in the performance of their duties. Abugazala is pushing back on the charges brought against her, calling her indictment, quote, political prosecution. This is a political prosecution and a gross attempt to silence dissent, a right protected under the First Amendment. This case is a major push by the Trump administration to criminalize protest and punish anyone who speaks out against it. I mean, Paul, just looking over some of the court filings of what's happening in Illinois, you find damaged federal property, blocking means of ingress and egress, ramming occupied law enforcement vehicles, slashing tires, threatening and doxing officers, all of the other examples we just showed. There seems to be an attack on ICE.
Listen, this one's not that complicated. Right, the laws are in place. ICE is out there to enforce the laws that are on the books. The previous administration let in 12 million unvetted, and they're trying to clean it up. If you break the law, you guys have to act with it. What kills me is that they go do this stuff, they tweet it out to virtue signal, and then they're shocked when ICE IDs them. It shows up and says, hey, you broke the law, you gotta go, that's it. Here's the thing that I think we can use to advance the story, and this is important. You got a map that works. The quick one and done arrest, and then the judge gives them a slap on the wrist, and out they go. That is ineffective. This is the point of the spear of the whole Soros ecosystem. Now, these are the same crews that tore apart our campuses, that destroyed the cities during the 2020 summer of love. It's all the same ecosystem. You gotta map that ecosystem. I hope the
I need to reroll my mana flask.
Map these networks going forward, because that's how you get the conspiracy charges. That's how you cut this stuff off at the root. You gotta put up their mugshots. You gotta expose them. They hate that because they all want to do this stuff. They perform it. They have their fun day in the field. Then they go back to East Cupcake and they live their lives and they get married and they have kids and they talk about their wild days when they were kids. No, this should follow their lives. Because if you're going to attack ICE agents, you attack federal agents with bricks, rocks, especially if you're illegal. That should not be one and done. It should stay with you.
I gotta stay away from East Cupcake if that's where they're hot and bad.
Give me that onslaught flask, baby. Yeah.
This is a real villain who we have to speak outside.
The courts and the Congress can eventually hold people accountable. It is imperative that none of the impropriety, brutality, and harassment perpetrated upon our people goes unnoticed. Every instance of abuse, of law breaking, or violence and violations of rights needs to be documented and archived.
I mean, Don, it sounds like he's keeping documents on ICE for people protecting themselves from lawbreakers.
It's unbelievable. From the people who have let criminals go are now all of a sudden worried about criminals who are trying to do the right thing. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. Trying to turn around what's happening out there and making it look as if the good guys are the ones causing problems. I mean, this is just unreal. You cannot keep a city safe. You cannot keep a state safe and allow this to go on. We have to remove these people. And since when have we started to say it's okay to let this go by without saying these are laws that are being broken, laws that we have to look at and say we must enforce them? Because if we don't, this is what happens. And this idea that the woman running in Illinois is being politically prosecuted, no, she is standing in front of a vehicle, impeding that vehicle from moving. That is a crime. You don't get to just say, oh, my behavior is excused because I have a different political view. No, your behavior is criminal. And we have to stop this. And I agree with Paul. We have to make sure these people are held accountable, and they don't want to be put on blast because if they are, they lose their jobs. Because businesses are saying, okay, we can't have these people around. Sometimes schools. So I agree. We have to put them on blast. And we have to.
Not be blinded, evasion, accuracies, stealth, suppression. Someone for anything?
Multi-hour deposition today seems like a 4 use of the time.
Not really. Can I go up to 10? Go up to 6.
Non-lethal use of tear gas on a crowd that was pelting rocks and bottles at the heads of ICE agents. Just a few days ago, right? And he is the Operation Midway Blitz Commander. That's a good name. He's the chief of the sector there, that Chicago's ICE sector sits in. This is an important job. They know they have the work for the money. They're going after them. And she wants to soak up his time. And yeah, he's there for a deposition. It's a one-off. What she wanted was perennially for him to be sitting with her. And so a court, an appeals court, decided yesterday, yeah, that's not going to happen. Had him on yesterday. And one of the things that he's worried about are all of his fellow agents. And look, there is concern, Haley, that are these people even going to do these jobs? Are they going to want to do the job that puts them in extra harm's way? He's been doxxed. He's had a gang put a hit out on him. That case, by the way, is being adjudicated because the cop is suspect in that. I mean, how much can one individual take if you've got that out? How much can any of them take? They're just going to work every day. They're just trying to make the world safer. Our world inside the United States, our world inside of Chicago, Illinois. And the governor basically makes it worse. He's calling them, did you hear the mayor, Brandon Johnson, calling them barbarians? Saying, hey, Greg Mondino jumped on, barbaric. Well, the guy's already got hit on him. We don't want people to even come in more on him. It's endangering life. The rhetoric from the left. But these people, why do they stop the cars? Because they've been doing it for months. They did it on the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. They don't know the difference between a regular car and a federal car. I don't think they care.
Yeah, and you know, he had the audacity to claim that he's actually trying to help ICE. I'm going to play that moment where Todd Lyons said, he's not helping us.
If you bring us a judicial warrant, we will bring you all kinds of help on the ground to go get the bad guys. That's what we want. We want the bad guys off the street. What we don't want is people to get racially profiled. That's what's happening right now.
Are they giving you all kinds of help there in Illinois?
That's 100% false, Caleb. Yeah, I really want to know who the governor is actually helping. He's actually helping criminals. He's not helping us. So we've even had cases where we had criminal warrants. You look at a lot of these cases, they talk about raids in Chicago. We don't have to do raids. It's targeted enforcement operations. That, oh yes, governor, we had criminal warrants, yet you're still putting targets on the brave men and women of life. So it's completely false.
So I remember watching Brett's interview with J.B. Pritzker, and I was most interested in that comment because Pritzker had said that the one good thing Trump had done was shut the border down. That's it, problem solved. We don't have to talk about this anymore. The point of an open border with millions of people coming into the country to take advantage of an incentivizing welfare system that makes it very comfortable to live here. The problem is that is unsustainable. My problem here is I, like everybody else in this country, want bad people, violent people, child rapists taken out of our cities because they're over and over again, and because poor funded DAs, they're not properly prosecuted. So it's the recidivists who are doing the most harm. Get those people out. If you are a rational governor and you want that to happen and you want ICE to operate as a new one, then have a conversation instead of demonizing the entire system. And law enforcement agents who are sworn members of ICE or Homeland Security, they have powers of arrest, added, and guns, and a great deal of responsibility. So talk to them. If you're worried that people in your community who are innocent and hardworking are being targeted, then change the system legally, not with this radicalized emotion that they are hoping leads to murder. That is the point of this sort of radicalization. Of people, the girl who's running for Congress, she's radicalized, and she's speaking to people who have nothing else to do. Maybe they're paid to be there. That is the worst possible way to change the system. But Pritzker is not interested in the logical way, unfortunately, for Illinois and the rest of the country to run for president.
You know what to tell because in these riots that you see, you never see Chicago PD trying to keep the order. ICE has less rights than the average citizen because Chicago PD, which will do the job if they're allowed to, not to enforce immigration, to make sure that ICE agents aren't beating the heck out of, frankly, and dragged out of their own cars. You never see that. That's the point.
Now, headlines that come on right along, Jamie Pritzker and everyone else. I'll be interested to see if that happens. Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host Harris Faulkner and Katie McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.
Hell yeah.
Ah, okay. So it's those green pieces that are the freaking thing that you take to the tree. Good to know.
Yeah, to get points, yeah. And then I have an assassin's mark over in gems. Crafting. Where's my
10 days ago,
regals?
current city Ken Coney announced that he was going to do a march through Whitechapel on the 25th of October, a crusade to reclaim Whitechapel, as it were. And this was met with
Got
quite a lot of
resistance on
aggression.
it
And
with
what I
the
think is very useful about this is the statement showing us what it is that actually lurks in this country. When the water is still and undisturbed, you wouldn't realise there was a huge problem, but when someone takes a stick and kicks up the mud at the bottom of the pond, you realise that the whole thing is actually filled with fish. And that's the issue that we have. We do not have
I think that a lot of people have really underplayed how radicalized a lot of like average people are. You've got to remember that like crowds used to go and watch people kill each other in a coliseum. People would bring their families out to watch lynchings. Like this is a very common thing. So the idea that like this is unfathomable or whatever is just crazy. It's happened so many times.
Like we thought we used to, and Nick has shown us this with his planned march. Now Whitechapel, you'll remember, is that area of the country that is basically a Bangladeshi colony. This is why they have Bangladeshi signage at the tube station. So people there know what this is because they don't speak English. They speak Bangladeshi. Now you can see that 64% of them were born outside of the UK, so it's a heavily colonised area. And in 2021, we're 3 years on, Boris moved on from this, so this is going to be different. You'll notice that English and English-British identity accounted for apparently about 8 and 10% maybe of the population, and various other sort of identities as well. Now, but most of them are not English at all. In fact, if we look, you can see that this is 39.974% Muslim. Again, it's going to be more than that now.
Saying colonized is ironic. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like that's what happens. Like, I mean, demographic changes happen. Happens everywhere.
And in fact, we don't know, because we have to wait till the next census. In 2031, 2030, I imagine we'll be done and get the results in 2031, to find out just how much more colonised this is. But the point is, everyone knows this is a very colonised part of the country, which is why their MP, Aspana Begum, Bangladeshi woman, said this.
From ending indefinite leave detention to creating safe routes, we need policies that reflect our values of dignity and compassion. That's why I will continue to push back against toxic.
They've let this get so bad. I really think this is going to be horrible. I think the UK and like places in Europe are going to have massive issues.
And stand up for solidarity, truth, and the rights for all who live here. Because this is in line with the traditions of solidarity in the East End of London, where we see diversity as a strength and where all of our communities include migrants from all around the world. Where the Jewish community.
She goes on, but actually, she's fairly stock in traders on my left. We are the Muslim community who are in charge here, is what she's saying. We have inclusive, compassionate values, and therefore we're not going to tolerate outsiders coming into our community.
Yeah, of course.
The local police and that police were like that. We're actually going to intervene because...
So the police just showed up because they knew this shit was going to be a clusterfuck. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They don't say this explicitly, but you can see they're saying this between the lines. We're worried that a huge gang of Muslim men are going to come out with weapons and murder some white Englishmen. Yeah. That's what they're scared of. And so they intervene to prevent serious disorder at Whitechapel.
Exactly, because they know that if the violence starts, then you're gonna. That's whenever things are really gonna kind of go crazy. Is that as soon as the violence starts happening and there starts being like actual like cultural unrest outside, that's whenever people are really gonna get. And the point where I think that you go to real authoritarianism, you go to real totalitarianism, you go into like actual like military being involved, is when average people are afraid. When you get to the point where average people are afraid and they don't want to go outside, that's whenever you have average people that will vote for whoever will make it safe.
Stabilize the breach!
That's why it will happen. Is that eventually this situation will get so bad, and I always wonder to myself, is this some sort of like fucking long-term plot so they can rationalize authoritarianism the same way that like it could also just be advantageous positioning, right? But I think that's basically what's happening. It's already reality environment, yeah.
In order to accelerate the protest to somewhere else, because they are worried that the organisers describe it as a crusade to free Whitechapel from the Islamists. Yep. Which is going to happen in one march. And of course, anti-racism with their paid activists are out there too. And so, Commander Nick John, who was in charge of the public order over the weekend, said Tower Hamlets is the largest percentage of Muslim residents anywhere in the UK. It is our assessment that there is a realistic problem of serious disorder to go ahead in the proposed location. Yeah, no kid. I think they're probably
no shit. Yeah, obviously it's going to happen. You can't have it here in the United States. No, I think it's a lot worse in the UK and in Europe.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Just because of like geographic location. I think that like there are places in the US that have like majority minority areas for sure, but in the UK I think that it's much more pronounced and much more extreme.
This community is deeply intolerant of the native British, and the idea that the native British are the people whose land this actually is. They're very possessive over their area. In fact, they came out in force. Let's have a watch.
Damn, I didn't know about this. Oh boy. And this is in London? Or not London? Yeah, it's in London.
Man. Paris also, yeah, I've heard about that.
So I think masked, black-clad Muslim men chanting Allahu Akbar, whose streets our streets, is actually a really useful thing to get media on and pictures of, to put on the internet to make sure that people can share around, because this is something that they love to respond, frankly. The Muslim Defense Force, or the Muslim Defense League, sorry, love to get there, like they did after the murder of the 3 young girls by Saudi Iran. This is something we're going to see more of in the future. In the colonized areas, they're going to keep taking to the streets, and they've got kind of uniform, and they dress them
Yeah, I think that's the issue, right? Is that as long as it gets, once it gets bad enough, I think that people will want the government, or people will vote for the government to intervene. And I'll move my camera if they play more videos, okay? I didn't realize it was in the way.
Always in the way. They're wearing their face masks.
It's pretty obvious, right?
They know that they don't want to be spotted. Yeah. They know that if the CCTV everywhere, so you want to keep your face covered just in case you happen to do something that you don't.
You're not supposed to do it, yeah.
So, like I said, having Nick propose this and making these people turn up on the streets, this is actually a really good thing. And you should send these links to the people that you know. You should make sure that your normal friends who don't really understand the scope of immigration, who don't really understand what has been brought here, are aware. This happened just the other day because UKIP were going to do a protest march through this area. Okay, do you want these people on your streets?
Protest my ass. They wanted to white power it up. They're twats. I mean, both of the groups. I mean, like, here's the reality. Both of them are racial and religious identity groups. That's the truth. And people might not want to say that because over there it can be illegal. But the truth is that these are both racial identity groups, and they are competing for a power within the system. That's what's happening. Like whether you disagree with this or you think one of them is wrong or not, that's basically what they are. There's no winner here. There will be an outcome for this. One way or another, there will be an outcome. And I guarantee you, no matter what the outcome is, it will be bad. There's no good outcome that will come from this.
I mean, it looks like a militia, right? It sounds like a militia. It seems to be what they're actually arguing for. But this doesn't sound like just a counter-protest or something. This sounds like men who would be prepared to come armed, and who knows if they did it. It's not like the police just patted them down. This is like that.
I'm sorry, Bill. That's a lot of people.
You want these guys marching around your streets? Why are these people here? Is this GDP? Is this cultural enrichment? And of course, as you can see, the Muslim Defense League, but also the radical left are there.
Yeah.
Now, while they're chanting refugees are welcome, I kind of notice there's a kind of informal segregation there, right?
It is funny how this shit happens, isn't it? Man, that is crazy. Wow.
The woke white leftists are on the right here, and the Bangladeshi Muslim Defense League are on the left. They are not sharing the same space. And that's really because these people don't actually agree with them. Like, these people are deeply socially conservative. These people are radical liberals.
That's what I've always found to be odd about this is that, you know, a lot of the, like, especially, like, a lot of Islam, at least my understanding, is very socially conservative. And it's always been odd to me to see people that are, like, so positive around, like, bringing in people that have that religion when that religion and the way that they believe is antithetical to everything else that they believe. Like, I don't really understand that. And I feel like it's a very confusing thing. But I think also, like, another big reason why I think that happens is just very simply because they never have to deal with it. And I think it's the simplest option, the most obvious option. It's that they never see any of the outcomes of this themselves. Many of these people live in nice areas. They don't have to see refugees on a regular basis, so they can just vote and, you know, go out and protest, and then they get to go back home to their safe community where they never have to deal with it. And I think that's the main reason why you don't have more of this conflict becoming evident.
Open borders leftists who are using these people as a weapon against England and the British people in the States. And they don't seem to realize that these people, when there is sufficient number, I'm not going to tolerate these people. These people don't care about the social issues of these people. In fact, in many cases, they despise these social issues. And in fact, we've got a golden example from this month, whereas the Muslim Defense League marching past the leftists. Well, this exchange took place.
I really need more points.
Man, we're on the same side.
We're on the same side, bro.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are, bro.
No.
Yeah, is the exchange. That is the point where you know they're aware of who they're standing next to, of course, and they're contemptuous of them. They despise them.
Yeah, and these people never admit that they're wrong. They'll never acknowledge this because doing so makes them feel bad. It's all about optics for them. It's optics and feelings.
They tolerate them because, of course, you've got to tolerate people who are purportedly coming out and leading the flag of Palestine and are on your side. But when they don't need to be tolerated anymore, when they're no longer a useful ally, well, they've already expressly said we're not on the same side. No. So if you're a white leftist watching this, thinking, well, I'm just for immigration, that's a good thing, not bad things. Well, all I'm saying is, we're standing there with foreign masked Muslim men who are chanting Allahu Akbar and walking through the street, faces up thunder, telling you you're not on their side, and they hate you. Maybe you might have miscalculated something.
They'll never admit that. That will never happen. The reason why is that they are so afraid of the optics of sounding like they are racist or Islamophobic. They will never admit that. They would rather probably, and I think that it might change if it personally affects them, but in terms of, like, as long as it doesn't affect them directly, they will never change and never move away from it. They are programmed to be pro-Asian minority no matter what the minority is. Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's like that. It's literally that simple. They just simply help whatever group is Western, basically. Like, whatever group is antithetical to their current culture, they will help that group.
This feels so good, Spider.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Christmas.
I don't know why you're stroking it in Discord.
So much.
Being a gay person in the West isn't really something that matters. It's very abstract. It's not very academic. Well, I mean, technically, if Palestinians took over, they'd do terrible things. Sure, they would. But they're 1,000 miles away and never going to take over. Well, these guys aren't 1,000 miles away. These guys aren't 1,000 miles away, and it's Pakistani MP.
Well, I've been seeing, I mean, and this is even happening with Christianity too, is that I think that really, as a response to this, I think that we've been seeing, this is the first time that I think it's ever really been happening, is that people are actually going to churches more than older generations are. And I think this is especially true with Christianity. And you're seeing like a very big resurgence of this. And I think the reason why is because people do that as a, effectively a way to protest against the cultural changes that are happening. I think that's kind of what's happening, is that you can't directly protest against it right now. You know, I think this will change as, you know, like the cultural shift continues to happen. But right now, I think that one of the ways that people do that is that they go back to the religion that their culture used to have. And I think this is also, it's also true with Muslims and Arabs and what do you call them, Western countries too. I think that's the reason why a lot of them that are extremists are second generation, is because they turn to that instead. And so it's not like this is a unique thing to Christianity. I think that whenever a person feels alienated from their own culture and they feel alienated from their own space, they will turn to those more traditional means. And I think that that's why you've seen such a massive resurgence of religion. You see this with Islam, but I think you also see it with the counter to it with Christianity as well. And the one thing that I find interesting about this is that the one thing that I think Islam and Christianity, a lot of them agree with, right, at least especially the extremist ones, is that they are very anti-LGBT. Very, very, very much so. Now, I'm not saying every single one, but like on an average, and let's be real, guys.
Bangladeshi MP, who is the MP of this area. And they're the ones who are now the majority.
They like familiarity?
Yeah, the majority of the large state. And they have a Muslim militia that can take to the streets. So, do you feel the proximity is perhaps a little bit closer? Just a question. So anyway, the police intervene, and they said to Nick, listen, these guys are probably going to kill you, and so, and so they will be routed to Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge is 2/3 white, so it's a third English and a third.
Yeah, they know. I mean, this is like, and this is another problem, is that a lot of people don't address this, what this really is. I mean, this is a ethnic and religious conflict. And I think that a lot of people who are like Westerners, and I think a lot of people in general don't want to categorize it that way because that's seen as like a bad thing. And you can say that's a bad thing, but I think that's absolutely what's happening. I think that there's absolutely a massive racial and ethnic component to this. And you can say that it's culture, and I think that like you're not totally wrong, but I don't think that that's the entire, that's not the entire piece of the puzzle. It is absolutely like racial and also cultural and also religious. It's all three of them together.
Okay. And the very minor non-Muslim populations, like there's an Arab population, 6%, but like the Chinese population, various other non-Muslim populations. So unsurprisingly, they were sent there.
Well, yeah, they know there's going to be a conflict.
And even Nigel Farage was like, oh, this is actually quite bad.
Yeah.
And called attention to this.
It's time to talk about racism and extremism in Britain. Think about this. Last Saturday, a march was planned, an anti-Islamic extremism march was planned. Have a look at what happened in response. Here we see large numbers of men, mostly young men, all men, no women, wearing a black style uniform, many with face masks, marching almost like an army, aggressively through the streets of East London.
Interesting how, I mean, he didn't name Nick or UKIP, but he also didn't mischaracterize them. He also characterized them as an anti-Islamic extremism, which Nick Clegg has described Islam as. Yeah, so even though the said, wow, this is quite bad, and actually this is a real issue, like we were having conversations about integration only the other day. What happened to those conversations in the face of all this? Are we still talking about integration? Are we still talking about these people being British?
Well, I think the problem is that there's like such a huge spectrum of it. And also, like, I think that really what happens is that because so many of these people have probably been added into the culture at the same time, it's happened so fast that they haven't really assimilated properly. And that's probably what's happened. Is that all these people have never really, like, for example, like, assimilated back into the general culture of the area, and they just kind of stay inside of their own unique removed group. And I think that basically they have created this problem themselves. They created this problem they never wanted to. Yeah, but they probably would have had to if it had happened more slowly, right? But if they're able to stay within their own community and never learn the language there and just get off benefits or something like that, you're going to have some problems. But yeah, no, you're definitely right that many of them don't want to assimilate. I mean, sure, of course that's true.
I mean, we know they're not. We know they're Bangladeshi. We know 64% were born overseas. So we know this is how area. What happened to that conversation about integration? What happened to that conversation about them being British, being like us? No, you've got to put foreign language. Because this is a place that is not the same, right? This is a place that has changed.
I don't think that you're going to be able to have and we'll see if this is true or not. I don't think you're going to be able to have two religious extremist groups being able to coexist. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know any place in the world where it does happen. Like, I'm trying to think in my mind, like, where does this happen? And there's like actual religious extremist groups that want to make laws according to their religion where they're coexisting. I don't think so.
And this is going to be something that, unfortunately, we have to deal with. So we've got to ask ourselves, is this what we want the future of Britain to be?
Yeah, I can see this getting worse and worse. I didn't even know about this march, but the fact that they knew this march was going to be such a massive crash out, and they tried to stop it before it even happened, I think that really says a lot right there just by itself. And I don't know really how bad this is going to get, but I do think that it will continue getting worse and worse and worse over time until people just become more radicalized and more extreme. And from video games to Republican, you live in poverty, don't speak for people in poverty. Okay, this is, what is this here? This is some other random person. Let me read this comment. Let me read the video real quick. What about this is don't speak for people in poverty? What about this has anything to do with it? So she believes her names are wrong, right? She's divine. Like, what do you mean by this? Propose on food stamps? No, I'm just curious what he's saying, right? He's getting, you guys waste your time. Well, I'm going to make one more response and then we'll probably move on, okay? There's a video, make sure to give a like. And it was, I see dark tidings ahead. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And I think that you're going to have even more people going towards religion, people getting even more fixated on it, etc. And yeah, again, like also the whole Republican thing or whatever, you live in poverty, don't speak for people. I understand more about it probably than you do. I do, and that's the reason why I do talk about it, is because I understand it better than you do. And you're getting mad because you probably misunderstood something because you're stupid. But unfortunately, I'm going to keep saying what my opinion is on these issues because I think it's important, right? And it's that simple. And I support shooting cops for fun. I mean, it's just a grain of logic. And Trump blames other countries, not us. You don't have a lot of money. Obviously, no happens to wealth individuals. People in poverty will fight back. They're going to fight back. So anyone think I can't even hit 100 followers. I just want to get 1K following. Yeah. So you're a broke, failed Twitch streamer, and you're mad at me for talking about things on stream that you think that you disagree with. Okay, yeah. No, it makes perfect sense now. Everything's put together, and I totally understand it. There we go, right? How about that, guys? Are they so jealous? Yeah, well, that's what happens, right? A lot of people feel that way. It's extremely common. And I think it's becoming more and more common as well. So, yeah, there it is. Seems mentally ill. Well, that's what happens, right? People are losers, and they get mad when other people aren't. But I'm going to go and take a little bit of a break and chill. It's not to say Thanksgiving. It's a Halloween. And so I was going to end a little bit earlier today and chill out. But I'll hang out for like 10 more minutes or so. I don't know. I think the only solution might be violence. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think that you will see a lot of violence. And I think that's what's going to happen in the UK pretty soon. I think it's going to be sooner than later. And I think it's going to happen in other places. What do you think will happen with Dearborn eventually? Oh, Dearborn, Michigan. I think that like really like one city or one area, you're going to run into problems whenever a religious extremist group tries to change laws that are conflicting with like federal law or state law. And I think that this is like a self-correcting problem that will happen through that. That's how it starts, yeah. You think humanity can survive if we all unite under one evolving belief system like science, or do you think that's impossible? It's impossible. That's just not how people work. people are programmed to kill each other and hate each other and find reasons to do it. You have, you know, like different sects of Muslims killing each other, then you have Christians and Muslims killing each other, you have Christians killing each other, you have, you know, black people being racist to black people, or white people, you have, you know, light-skinned black people being racist to dark-skinned black people, like same thing with Asians. Like, there will always be a way that people create in order to other each other and then find a way to have conflict. Like, that's just the way it is. Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. Like, it's at the highest level and the lowest level. Why do you think people assimilate better in the U.S.? Do you think it's because most immigrants are Christians? I think people assimilate better in the U.S. than in the U.K. because there's less of them that are coming in proportionally to the population. So, like, the U.S. is also a really big place, too. So, like, the U.K. comparatively is much smaller than the United States. So there's less of a concentration in the United States of those people. And I think that, yeah, the density matters, like a lot of that stuff matters. And then also, I think that's, well, yeah, that's actually probably the biggest reason. And I think also radicalization there happens more because of the speech laws. Yeah, ironically. I think that, like, the hate speech laws actually end up radicalizing more people than they prevent radicalizing. So as far as British people are going to see the writing on the wall in the nation, they're going to immigrate from America. They're going to I don't think we should let any of them in. I'm going to be honest, like, they've got to solve their own problems. Like, that's my same outlook with every country, right? Is like, I don't want to take refugees from other countries just because, like, they had their own country go to shit. I mean, like, I don't want to deal with that. We've got so many of our own problems. We've got poor people here. We can't deal with that in general. What do you think about this take? The problem is even if we clean them in the military Europe, there's too many extreme terrorists already. Even after mass deportation, there'll be radicals with killing spree hidden for decades. I mean, like, you're going to have problems that are residual, but I do think that they'll probably go with a pretty extreme solution eventually if people get radical enough. It just depends on who has the reins of power. But I think that you are going to have, like, probably pretty extreme solutions for, you know, these problems. And you're already having people talking about sinking the boats and, like, the people that are swimming over, which is, like, it's kind of a crazy thing to say, really, when you're thinking about it, right? I mean, these are, like, people that are trying to come over the country and you're blowing the boat up, basically, you're sinking it, and then they drown and just die, right? And, like, that's a pretty extreme position to have. And I think it's a position that a lot of people do have, right? And I think that just becomes more and more pronounced over time. And then after it gets bad enough, then it becomes normalized. That's it. Don't get in the boat. No, I mean, you can say that. I mean, again, like, you can explain all that. What I'm saying is that the fact that the culture and the, you know, the society is at the point where they think that doing that is acceptable, I think that's a pretty big step. That's a really, really big step. And that's the point that I'm making more than anything else. Is that the fact that people are that fed up or angry or whatever, and they're willing to go and do something that's, like, you know, really kind of horrible to do. I think it really shows, like, how easily people can go into that mindset. You do it a few times, eventually the boat stop coming. That's obviously why they would probably do it. Yeah, of course that's the logic. Survival mindset. Yeah, and I think that, like, that's another thing is that I think that a lot of people don't understand that whenever people feel like they're in a survival mindset, they will pretty much throw away their morality completely. Like, morality will just be gone out the window, totally finished. Nobody's going to take seriously anymore. And I think that's what happens in a lot of cases. And so once that happens and people start feeling like they're, you know, they're trying to, you know, basically just survive, you know, that's whenever it gets bad.
Hey, finally. Freaking Chance Orb. Let's get that attack. Oh, am I missing any resistance? No, I am way capped on resistance. So let's just grab whatever. Let's do Cold and Lightning. Pure. Oh, maybe not pure garbage. Not bad, actually. Alright, more importantly. Library. Ah, dagnabbit, I just put the thing away.
Tirelessly from South Korea is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Mr. Secretary, it has indeed been a whirlwind for you, the entire team, the president. The trade deals with Japan and Korea, highly significant, hundreds of billions of dollars. But it will not surprise you, sir, to hear that the globalists at The Economist say that China is winning the trade war. And today the New York Times basically said the same, claiming that by withholding soybean purchases and rare earth exports, China extracted relief from U.S. tariffs, delayed export controls.
It's not giving me any more quest items for doing the breach mechanic. I might not be able to progress until I get to map snow or something. I don't know.
And I can tell you, this was one of President Trump's finest moments, and everything that he's been doing since he came back in January 20th, it rolled into this moment. He's been doing.
I just wanted one more.
He came into China's backyard. He was in Malaysia at the ASEAN conference. We signed deals with Malaysia. He was credited with stopping the war between Thailand and
Alright, let's see how this goes. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I didn't get the waypoint for the freaking slave pens. Also, let's go check out what this hand mouth does. Oh, I had two of them? Nice. Wait, you could purchase graphs from her? No. Oh, it's just a base. Boo.
In case you, like, I don't know, or something, I guess. huge clear, and if I don't get green thingy from it, I will ignore it until maps. Maybe getting rid of all the fucking wall does something, I don't know.
On October 8th, China unilaterally said that they were going to put a rare earth licensing regime on the entire world, and President Trump, as the leader of the free world, got this delayed by one year. So it wasn't just for the U.S., it was for the entire world.
Well, what happens a year from now?
Our supply chains are so integrated.
Right. What happens a year from now?
We'll be at the table. My guess is a year from now we'll be back at the table, and we'll get another delay, another roll, because what everyone misses is that the Chinese have rare earths, but we have President Trump's threat on tariffs. He gave the team maximum negotiating leverage when, within 24 hours of the Chinese announcing the potential export controls, he said, if this happens, I will raise the tariffs on China 100%, which is, in essence, an embargo. And the U.S., we are the deficit country. China.
All right, okay, I like this league mechanic. It's kind of cool. It just gave me a 5-link body. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Holy crap. That's insane.
The question remains, I think, as time goes on, can we ever really guarantee our independence if we are reliant upon a communist regime for critical industries?
Oh no, I died.
What a new...
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, there's another 5-link body. Red and green. Do you want it?
Just red and green?
Yeah. It's an armor evasion. Okay. Dabu dee dabu da. Ravenous Molten Zophgraph of Smashing. Uses level 12 Heart of Flame, 14% increased armor. Skills used by this graph deal more damage. Sure, why not?
Increased elemental damage too. Did this not... My other belt give me more strength? This gave... Oh my goodness, this gave 51 strength.
Oh, I got another... How did I get another one? I didn't have another graph thing on me. Oh well, whatever. It upgraded the tree. Let's see. Do I want him fractured? Probably. Fractured would be cool. Makes it a little bit more useful. So this is to reduce stuff. Values of the random modifiers are rolled in addition time, keeping the best. Okay, that sounds just like good overall. Additional equipment item. Reduce defense, reduce attribute. So this whole side of the tree is just reduce everything. Okay. Ah, and then this is the increase side. Okay, okay, okay. Hmm.
Mr. Secretary, Jerome Powell yesterday kind of threw some cold water, it seems. He came across to a lot of people, including yours truly, threw cold water on the Asian trip by saying basically that the rate cut in December wasn't a foregone conclusion. Your reaction to Powell's decision to give those remarks yesterday?
This is a very interesting system. I am enjoying it. Now that I kind of understand it. Just a little bit.
Just a wee bit.
I hate that I don't have the slave pens. Gotta go back and catch it. Also, we're coming up on 2 o'clock. I think we should I'm gonna get this waypoint and then I'm gonna start trying to make a script for a video. My goal is to take no longer than 1 hour to do it. Like the script, the record, and the upload.
Right.
Certainly looks like it. Anything you want to tell us finally, very importantly, about the birds behind you? Because they seem to be quite exercised about the whole summit, the whole
people making? Have you done something to scare them, Mr. Secretary? I don't know what's going on.
No, once Air Force One left, the magnitude of the conference kind of lost a little altitude when President Trump left. So, I'll be sitting in the seat for the U.S. delegation. No one does it like President Trump. He's clearly the leader of the world.
All right, I'm liking this wand attack. It's kind of cool. Things just blowing up.
And signed these trade deals, the peace deals, and led through spring. And it's America's back on the world stage, and President Trump leading it.
And the birds are enjoying every minute of it currently. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for spending so much time with us tonight. We will talk to you very soon. Congratulations.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
I wonder how you keep track of just all the, like, if you want to introduce a new mechanic that has, you know, a set of whatever the frick stats and whatnot, like, how do you ensure that you're not breaking the game? Like, there's got to be a method for it. Because POE has no test server necessarily. But
They have their internal test server for sure.
Somatic Shell is the name of the attack I'm using. It's pretty cool. Ancient Womb Gift. Unique items. Alright, take the resonator. Find the freaking waypoint. There it is. How did I just walk past it? There we go. Alright. Time to skedaddle. Ending soon.